Good evening, C3 parents. Let me just get my mic ready here. Okay, sorry about the delay. We actually had a little bit of technical difficulties. It seems like my laptop every now and again decides that you want to do a live. First restart me. So that kind of happened tonight. Anyway, C3 parents, welcome to the conversation. And tonight we're actually going to talk about those emotional triggers. How do we grow? How do we learn? How do we break the cycle? Um, there's I actually initially wanted to carry on with my positive parenting and supportive parenting conversation that we've been having the past couple of weeks. However, after something that actually happened today, I realized I need to switch gears at least just for this chat tonight. And we can dive into the conversation about this basically supportive parenting a little bit later on next week. However, it is such an important thing that we need to talk about is how to manage our own triggers. Um, Now, I'm going to talk about three things, three very specific things that we can do to actually grow, learn, and start breaking the cycle. Now, very often we all end up being, we repeat the mistakes of the past. um, Things that we've learned in our childhood, almost repeating childhood trauma. A lot of times, not even realizing we're doing it, but it takes a while and it takes work. So, first, before I even get to the three things, just know, have grace for yourself. You're going to make mistakes. You are going sometimes just going to get it wrong, like I did earlier today. I did one of the things that actually triggers my own trauma, and I promised myself I'll never do this to my kids and my family. And today I actually did that. I did the passive aggressive cleaning, which causes extreme anxiety for me as an adult today. Um, because the moment my partner actually cleans the house, he's not even passive aggressively cleaning, he's just cleaning, he's just doing something. I get extremely anxious. I'm waiting for a fight. So I've tried very hard, and I didn't even realize I was doing it until my husband, the Habatron, actually called me out on it and said to me, "Hey, you're doing that thing, and you're creating the same trauma for the kids and for me. You need to stop." So I am going to share three steps, three things that actually help me um, start breaking that cycle. Yes, I'm human. Yes, I'm sometimes do get it wrong, but these three things I've found really keeps us rooted and help us. So number one is, when you are pregnant, when you have your kids, you have to have conversations about the things your parents did that you didn't like. What not just your parents, any person in position of authority over you did or does that makes you feel small and incompetent. Make a list of those things. Then, after you've made that list, then next to it, go, right, how would you have wanted it to be handled? Because if you get confronted with a situation similar to this, or situations where you are making your child feel that way, it will help you that how you would have wanted to be handled differently actually helps you to shift yourself into your child's shoes and approach it then from your child's perspective on how would how can I maneuver this situation? How can I move the situation instead of being a situation that is punitive and trauma shaping? Take the trauma out of it and actually be cooperative and supportive and help my kid move forward. This means you need to be extremely, extremely, extremely honest with yourself and very clear on that when you react the way that the adults reacted towards you that made you feel that small, that you can take ownership of that, apologize to your child and say, you know what, I could have handled it differently and I could have handled it better. And then open up a conversation with your child of what would have been a better way to handle it as a parent and for your child and parent relationship. Here's the nice thing about this. as you learn from this, and that list is going to grow because every now and again something's going to happen and you're like, oh my, I didn't realize that this trauma was there or that this thing is there. So you're gradually going to heal from your past trauma because the being able to reshape it gives you the opportunity to heal from it and to heal that inner child of yours that has been so bruised and so battered and felt so lost. And it will help you also then obviously stop transferring that trauma or that cycle over to your own kids. So that's number one. Number two, pay attention to your body. The reason I honestly lost track of myself and moved into the trained parenting style that I am trying so much to break down and not be doing is because I wasn't paying attention to myself. I've been kind of overdoing things, overstressing a lot of things, and trying once again to burn the candle, not just at two ends, but probably in the middle as well. I got annoyed, I got frustrated, I felt overwhelmed, and instead of communicating, instead of checking in on myself, on checking in, am I rested? Have I had enough rest? Um, what is really honestly priority? What is not? I just got completely overwhelmed and I just did not communicate anything and I kind of exploded. And that hurt that I was feeling and the frustration wasn't even my family's doing. It was my own. It was this panic flashback of expectations of my own childhood that just kind of layered onto everything, that I did the passive aggressive cleaning. And when given the opportunity that someone actually dared to ask, is everything okay? What's going on? I literally bled onto them, like, or hurting, like cut the people that didn't hurt me. Um, and yes, I was frustrated. Yes, the situation um, shouldn't have built up to that particular point in time, but I should have started communicating the moment I started picking up that things aren't going the way it's supposed to. And I stopped communicating. And that actually brings me to number three, communication. If you have a life partner, even with your kids, always communicate. Yes, sometimes we're like, oh no, but I don't want to be the nagging wife, or I don't want to be the nagging parent. I don't want to be constantly like like this naffy on my family about things that needs to happen in the house, or that boundaries, or things that needs to be shaped. And interestingly enough, we turn into those nagging things, or people when actually feel overwhelmed, when we feel ignored. But what happens is, due to the parenting styles of, especially, I want to say the boomer group, the older generation, due to their parenting style, a lot of the parenting style was ignoring. If a child misbehaves, you ignore them. If you are not pleasing to you ignore them. A child should be quiet, and should be seen and not heard. All these ignoring tactics actually gets amplified for us as adults or as parents the moment we feel ignored, the moment we feel our voices being drowned out, because we were raised with the expectation that once you become an adult, you're supposed to be a child should be seen and not heard. But once you're an adult, you actually have a voice and you're supposed to be heard. And you feel ignored, and that childhood trauma actually comes back into the forefront. And then what do? We revert to the tactics that our parents used to get us to fall into in line. And most of those tactics are once again minimizing and diminishing the child and creating the same kind of trauma bond that was created with us and the generation before us. So it is extremely important that we actually have this, like, communicate, say, listen, yeah, my expectations are not being met. You're not holding up the end of your bargain. Let's have a conversation. What's going on? Are you overwhelmed with school? Or is this what's going on? Things have been going well and now things have been falling apart. Must I kind of lower my expectations, or are we going to rework the system? open communication, something that I actually failed to do. I wasn't openly communicating. I was just in this little bubble and wrapping into myself due to various circumstances and various things. And my response, things that I was responsible for, actually kind of just got away from me. And I, I didn't ask for help, but I was angry that nobody was helping me. And I don't want my children to learn that it's not okay to ask for help, and but okay to fight with people when they don't offer help. Um, and we don't realize we teach our children that until we are in that position where we're angry at people for not helping us, but we never opened our mouths to ask for help. And yes, I'm not saying, that your life partner or your life partner that parents with you or your co-parent has no responsibility in that you always have to ask and instruct and do carry the. I'm not saying you have to carry the mental load. What I'm saying is, especially when you have been overextending yourself and you're falling behind certain things, instead of moving into the martyrdom parenting space, rather move into the, hey, you know what, I was overwhelmed. I've stopped doing my part. Can you help me with XYZ? And acknowledging that you're not a failure. It is normal to ask for help. It is healthy to ask for help. What is abnormal, what is really toxic, what's really dangerous and really damaging is when we don't ask for help. Because when we then lash out, we really harm not just the people that would have helped if we actually opened our mouths and said, hey, I'm drowning, help. Um, we create the idea that it's okay to have unfair expectations, not just of our children but of our life partners and of our friends. Um, and please understand, I'm not referring to any mental health issues in this conversation. I'm honestly just talking about the day-to-day tasks. Also acknowledge that one of that on that list of things, what you should have on that list is, I am not going to be a martyr parent. I am not going to die at the altar of martyrdom for my kids, or so that people can think I'm a good parent. You are a good parent already, just by caring, just by wanting to break the cycle. There's already goodness in your parenting. You are a good parent. Um, so embrace that, understand that, and start working on that, because you deserve to be healthy. You deserve to have a healthy life emotionally and physically. And even if that means asking for help when you are overwhelmed, when things are just that little bit too much, you can't explain why, but it's just too much, ask for help. Even if it means reaching out to a friend, if you don't have a co-parent or a life partner or someone that can help you with the parenting and with the with how, like, with your day to day, reach out then to a friend and say, you know what, it's been really chaotic. It's been I'm really stressed. I've checked in with myself. I'm reaching a point where the slightest thing can set me off. I need help. Please help me. With, even if it's knocking on the neighbor's door and say, hey, you know what, can you help me? That's why it's important to cultivate healthy relationships with neighbors. Anyway, guys, I think that is where I'm going to end tonight's conversation. Is um, ask for help, communicate what your needs are, have your list, work on it, be patient with yourself, understand that it's not going to, just because you've got the list doesn't mean never going to do those things, but that list helps you to be aware so that you know where you can fix things and where you should fix things, and also to remind you that you need to work from your child's perspective. Try to get enough rest. Try to acknowledge that it is okay to let certain things go. It is never healthy for a parent or a parent-child relationship if a parent burns the candle at two ends or more than two ends. Um, take care of yourself as well. And stay safe. If you want to continue with parent coaching and a bit more personal, a bit more one-on-one, please join our Patreon. The link is down below in the description down below. Come join the Patreon community, where we grow. There's podcasts and there's videos that gets uploaded monthly, um, in the whole parenting journey and growing together. Please stay safe and spread love and not germs. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.